Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's bird video. We're going to have a look at weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's bird video, day 10 will take us to the 24th of February. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the GFS and ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for March. I should get on that for you in a moment. Just say that first. The video themselves are 6am UK weather forecast, and we've released January Friday as well. Check out those two vids if you would like to do that. Like, share, and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Could be live at 10:30 with a pub run tonight. First pub run live about a month, I think. So I'll see you later on, maybe for a couple of Friday night laughs. Right, okay, let's start off with the latest wind from that from earth.nullschool.net, showing that we're changing wind direction very subtly today, but it's an important change, because we have been bringing in the wind from the east, dragging lots of low cloud, mist, moisture, dampness from up the North Sea. But, check this out. We're now bringing the wind in from more of a southeasterly direction, and that's bringing drier air in from up the continent. So I've been stuck under gloomy skies for days and days and days, or at least large parts of the country. However, we are breaking up a lot of that cloud today, and we have actually got a little bit of sunshine here in the towers for the first time. I know, probably a couple of weeks or something. There's a brighter feel to the weather, and this is a sign that we are now starting to come out of the colder period. I know it's not been that cold, but it has been, pretty chilly under these grey skies. Anyway, we're starting to come out of that, and next week the trend will be towards much milder weather. Actually, we might see the temperature going up into the mid-teens Celsius at times later next week. I've still got quite a cold weekend to go, though. Central temperature is still sitting at 4.3. That's half a degree above 61 to 1990 average. In provisional to yesterday, to the 13th of February. I'll probably tick down a little bit more over the next day or two. Next week it will start to get rocket boosters, so I reckon we'd probably finish up in the 6s with the CT for this February. I think it'll be in the end a very mild February, mostly down to the final week to 10 days. Be interested to see where we land up. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Looking at Edinburgh today, the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Edinburgh. We're starting off below, well, around average to below average for the rest of the weekend and to start next week. But through next week, the trend is an upwards one, becoming mild, even very mild actually, as we're going through that final week of February. Maybe a bit of a cooling trend into the start of March, although that's a long way off and therefore is unreliable. Precipitation-wise, it's going to be relatively dry for the next week or so. So sorry, when the last week of February, probably turning more unsettled. Temperature anomalies for the next 5 days, still coming out a little bit colder than average, but if we look at the 6 to 10 day temperature anomaly, very different there. Up to day 10, much above average, much milder than average, and that goes on into the 10 to 14 day as well. That gets us to the end of February. So certainly a big change on the way for the final week to 10 days or so from that. Precipitation anomalies up to day 7, looking average or drier than normal for most parts of the country, a bit wetter than average for Ireland. And if we look at the 4 to 10 day precipitation anomaly, gradually getting wetter in the west, the 8 to 14 day precipitation anomaly, again, wettest in the west, nearer normal further east. It's going to be a lot milder, but it is also going to be much more unsettled through that last week or so of March. Right, chart data. This is how the latest UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Monday. Still bringing quite a chilly southeasterly wind then, quite calm to the start of next week. But through next week, we shift that southeasterly around to a southerly and eventually start to pick up a southwesterly. So by the time we get through to the end of next week, looking a lot milder. If we follow the isobars back, we can see the air is originating from down here off the coast of Portugal, west of the the Azores and southwards towards the Canary Islands, so becoming much milder as we go on through next week, with those temperatures really lifting up. Icon again looking quite cold at the start of next week, quite chilly beginning to next week, but it will turn milder as the week progresses, winds shifting from southeasterly to a southerly, and then eventually around to a southwesterly. By the end of next week, well, quite windy and probably pretty wet for the north and west as well. The southeast should be drier, but the main thing will be the boost in the temperature. I reckon that could lift the temperature into teens Celsius through some parts of the country. And then this is how the KMA is looking. Almost of a muchness for next week. We've got a clear trend now for next week. All of the wobbling about and uncertainty, it's all gone. All the models are singing from the same hymn sheet. We start off with a chilly southeasterly, we turn it into a southerly, we pick up a southwesterly, and that takes us through then into the last week or the last days of February, where we're looking at mild. But there will be rain at times, so, it's not going to be complete plain sailing. Obviously, we're still in technical winter, the very earliest spring. So there will be bands of rain at times coming through, of course, but it's going to be a much brighter feel, a westerly, southwesterly, going to be a lot brighter overall in between the rain bands, and a much milder feel as well. Right, the GFS is looking like this, with winds once more coming in from that southeasterly direction. Start next week, quite chilly for Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday will gradually start to shift back into a southerly. There's a slightly milder wind direction. Second half next week, pick up a southwesterly, and that will properly start to lift up the temperature. And that's how we look at day 10. Actually, a lot of high pressure influences, so a lot of dry weather there as we're coming up to day 10. Not much in the way of rain. It's not until we extended with GFS midnight run that we start to pick up some low pressure. But even then, quite a bit of high pressure domination. Let's have a look at the end of GFS midnight run. I've got heading to the Scandi. Trying to get going again. We don't want any more of them, I don't think, for the time being. We've had enough of those, haven't we? Failed Easterlies. But there is a bit of a hint there right at the very end of the GFS midnight run. And then Missed Hour 6 then is looking, so once more quite chilly, quite cold on Monday. And that lasting just about into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but trends towards the southwesterlies, so becoming milder and looking very mild potentially as we get up to around day 10. Check that out, bringing the wind up from the Azores. So once again, I think that could lift the temperature to 14, 15 degrees. It should be mostly dry down the south, so very pleasant spell of early spring weather there. In the extended, again, we look mostly dry and mild for the south, a little bit more unsettled out to the north and west. Let's just have a very quick look and see what the Strat's doing on that GFS run. This will one fly in the ointment. What's going on in the stratosphere as we're moving into March. So for the time being, we've got blue colours, most of the cold temperatures at 10 HPA over the Arctic and the North Pole stratospheric polar vortex still entrenched. By 22nd of February, quite a large scale warming is taking place over the Atlantic and into Europe, and let's see what the GFS does with that. So it eventually moves it around towards Russia there, and let's have a look as we get to the 2nd of March. So by then, stratospheric polar vortex is still in business, but very much displacing towards northern and western parts of Europe. Warming taking place from Russia going round in towards the polar region itself. That probably won't be enough up to that point to reverse the zone of wind, so that's not an SSW. Whether that would develop further on into an SSW is interesting to ponder. I think it will do. I think we're going to get sudden stratospheric warming event probably in the 2nd or the 3rd week of March. So that's the one fly in the ointment. This spell, is shifting to much milder weather, much more spring-like weather. Might be a false early spring, and as March progresses, especially the second half of the month, somewhat unusually given March is a warming month overall, but this year we might find that we get a throw back into much colder weather later on into March if this SSW does indeed come off. We'll have to wait and see. It's all speculation, and time will tell. Well, if you enjoyed the video, but for the time being, let's enjoy and focus on the change towards something a lot brighter and a lot milder. If you enjoy the video, please you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Why not drop a comment and let's say what you think about this and all of our videos, content, live streams, etc., etc. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids, get them to subscribe too. And thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. I think we need to put on around 60 subscribers to get ourselves to 19.6k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you're having a lovely Friday. Right, GM, again with high pressure to the northeast, still blocking things out to the beginning of next week, still looking quite calm as we start next week. But through the week, we get that change in the wind direction from the southeast to the south and then to the southwest. So as next week progresses, temperatures will be lifting up. By the end of the week, we should be looking very mild, and we get through towards day 10. Well, there will be some rain at times, particularly in the north and the west, but I think there's a lot of dry weather down in the south anyway, and very pleasant conditions, and not much more to be said. Temperatures into double digits anyway, possibly even getting into the teens Celsius in some places. And then the ECM rounds it all off. So once again, winds are coming up from the southeast on Monday, quite cold. Then there's a change to the south and to the southwest with wind direction. Through next week, it turns increasingly mild. As we get up toward day 10, we've got some wet and windy weather into the northwest. South should be mostly dry and very pleasant. Again, temperatures into double digits at the very least. And extended with the ECM, maybe a little bit cooler, but high pressure still in control and in the ascendancy. Bring a lot of dry weather with it. So, might see the temperature dropping a bit in the closing days of February there, but overall still very pleasant conditions. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. So there will be a little bit of rain and snow around this weekend, actually. If you like the cold weather, make the most of the weekend. Next week, well, some snow into the north through the early part of the week, and then it turns back to rain as those southwesterlies set in. Most of the rain will be in the north and west, a lot of dry weather in the south and the east, and that's how we look as we get to day 10. Rain mostly confined to the far west of Scotland. Meantime, we got some table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office. Gets us to the 24th of February. 22 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to the south and the east, low pressure way to the north and west, and winds are coming up from a southwesterly direction. We've got 15 members of the ECM ensembles, again, more of a Scandinavian high influence. So I think that's going to be mostly dry, quite pleasant. Could be a little bit cooler, perhaps with a southeasterly flow. And then we've got 14 here with high pressure to south, low pressure to the north, and up comes those southwesterly winds. Could be a bit more unsettled, especially for the north, but should be mild in 2 weeks' time. This is the option map we've got, gets us to the first day of March, on the first day of meteorological spring. 51 out of 51 members of the ECM ensembles with a ridge of high pressure from the Atlantic into West Europe. Should be mostly dry. Then with that, could be a little bit cooler if the wind's coming in from like a northwesterly direction into that high pressure. But overall looking very pleasant, I have to say, for the final week or so of February. Only got my month mixed up. Then this how March is looking overall, with today's 700 millibar high predominantly from the CFS. And talking of pleasant, this looks really nice actually. Low pressure is away towards Greens and Iceland, but we've got a nice ridge building up from the Azores into the west of Europe. We're on the mild side of the jet stream there. That should be a really nice start to spring, I would imagine. Temperature anomalies are above average, so a mild month. And you would have thought, probably quite a dryish month. It's wettest out to the northwest in the Atlantic, near normal to a bit drier than average for the UK and for Ireland as well. So a very pleasant month in March, if that is right. We shall see. Okay, we're done. If you've enjoyed the video, please can you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you everyone for doing that. Drop a comment. Let's say what you think about this and all of our videos, content, etc., etc. And don't forget to your friends about GavsWeatherVids. Get to subscribe too. Thanks so everyone for doing that. We're going to be back at 10:30 with a pub run, and then over weekend tomorrow we've got 6 a.m. UK weather forecast. We've got weekend forecast each time going for 2 day and 10 to 14 day with all of the regular features, and then on Sunday we will be having 6 a.m. forecast. We're going to have the final update for spring ahead of spring forecast a week on Sunday, and also we'll be live at 6 p.m. on Sunday evening with your 10 to 14 there. We'll try to maybe include ensembles watch. We might do some long range, so should be an interesting live stream on Sunday. Plenty to look forward to then on the channel over the weekend. But for this one, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. See you later on for the pub breaking around the channel then. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and bye for now.